Hey guys, welcome back to Clockwise Crypto. Hope you guys are moving forward in everything that you do. Let's dive right into it here. Looking at this article here, the value of Bitcoin becoming more obvious as people realize banks are risky, says macro guru Lynn Alden. So let's dive into this and really see what he's saying. Here in this quote, he's saying, I think people took for granted what a lot of the world doesn't take for granted, which is that banks are risky, that there's risk there, especially if you're above certain insurance limits. Basically, you're lending to the bank to invest in a variety of assets, and most of us don't take time to study the assets of the banks we operate in. Many of them are not public, so we can't even do so if we wanted to. Pretty much, you're putting your money, the banks are going to do whatever they want with it, and if they, mess up or over leverage, you're out of luck. So, right here, even in this, this quote, and diving a little bit more into it, he's saying, we're seeing firsthand some of the risks that are just common throughout the world. And the narrative of Bitcoin is, and basically being able to self-custody your own assets, having assets that can't be diluted, having assets that are not someone else's liability, I think are coming more to the fore, which means the forefront. The narrative is obviously strengthened by some of these issues. So diving in, looking at all the banks that have had significant problems recently, and what that looks like to the retail consumer, the person that goes in and puts the money in the bank and lets it sit. Why wouldn't you choose Bitcoin where you can hold it yourself? That's the argument. Why deal with all this? Right? You're dealing with fluctuation anyway. Okay. Yes. Dollar hasn't went to zero, right? I get it. But at the same time, you're dealing with risk because inflation, your dollar, your purchasing power is being, having some sort of fluctuation. So definitely something to look at. The value of Bitcoin is huge, so definitely pay attention and make some decisions. This isn't financial advice, but you have to make a decision. Do you trust the bank? Do you trust the legacy financial system with your money? So going to another article here I thought was interesting before we dive into the technicals. U.S. debt default would be catastrophic, could cost the American dollar reserve currency status. And diving into this article, one thing that I wanted to highlight is when he says the United States has never really come close to defaulting on its debt before. So it's hard for us to imagine what that might look like. But of course, it would be catastrophic. Frankly, the full faith and credit of the United States is the bedrock on which the global financial system is built. And if that comes into question, all kinds of things could happen. The U.S. dollar, its position as a global reserve currency, could be eroded. People may choose to invest in the UK or the European Union rather than the United States. And this is something big. This is happening right now. These are conversations that are happening right now. So pay attention to that. I definitely wanted to highlight that. And now we're going to go right into the technicals and looking at Bitcoin. Bitcoin respected that level of resistance we had, pulling back. We do have these EMA. This is a weekly time frame. So remember what I said last week. This is going to take a minute to pretty much show itself and to pull back. It's going to be a minute. We showed you the divergence. We see the divergence playing out on both sides. And I'll actually highlight this here again for you. We see the divergence right here, and we see it coming up right here. That is divergence. So what I need to happen is I need to see a break of these levels. So definitely pay attention to a break. It's definitely something that I'm looking for, but I need to see a break of these levels to really confirm that divergence and this pullback is in fact happening. So I want to see a break right here. I want to see a break right here. That's what I want to see for me to really be sold. And we can actually move this right here. So that's kind of the levels I need to see broken to really confirm that pullback is legit and that we could potentially make new lows. I know everyone said that was the bottom, yada, yada, yada. Don't fall into the FOMO and look and see what's happening globally. and to really determine, make a ideology of what could happen, what's to come. The last time, we hit the bottom, it was death. It was like people really thought Bitcoin was dead. And I don't think we've reached that point yet where we pulled back enough for people to really say, okay, it's dead. Okay, it's over. It's going to be. So I think it would be healthy for one more drop. That's what I really believe. That's what I'm waiting for. I just don't see it. I do not see people, I think people, we're accumulating, right? We're dollar cost averaging. But when we talk about taking massive buying positions or reaching that point where people are FOMOing into Bitcoin, I don't think we reached that yet. People are still on the sidelines. When it reached 30, people are still on the sidelines, and we saw that in the price action. So going to Ethereum, we still have our signal here. You see those EMAs, the red and blue EMAs, nearing each other. We're waiting on a cross there, and that's kind of been the notion. Like I said, this is a weekly chart, so it's gonna be a minute. It's gonna take a while. We're gonna be saying the same things pretty much every week until we see a significant move. But for the most part, I think you guys can see that everything is playing out how we looked at it. So pay attention to that. Dollar cost averaging, in my opinion, is a great way to go, just because you're not locking into one price. But at the end of the day, for us, we are looking for that pullback as well, because we do see that, this overall correction of what happened during the last bull run, this huge correction, I think is needed. Huge correction. So we went up for a while, and this pullback here is necessary. We went up pretty much from July of 2020 all the way to peaking in 2021. So now I think a pullback is good. It's healthy. It's the result, or the predecessor of a healthy market. So pay attention to that. That's what we're looking at, and we'll stay on this weekly time frame just because I think that it's the cleanest option to really see price action right now. Weekly's really playing out pretty well. The dailies is okay, but it's just more choppy and more candles, and it's no real directional bias. The weekly pretty much shows, okay, here you go, less candles, but still pretty clean charts. So that's what we're looking at, guys. I just wanted to stop in and break that down for you, because that's what we're looking at. And to be honest with you, the long game with crypto is very, very promising. So pay attention, guys. Hope you guys got some value out of this video. Keep moving forward in everything that you do. Goodbye.